I am not wearing makeup. Bitgravity.com. Look at the high definition. Bitgravity.com. High definition. High definition. Hi. Hi. Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching that quick endorsement of our good friends at BitGravity. They are, by the way, if you are having reconnection issues, they are going to switch off the HD streams for just a few minutes to fix it, so you can watch the final in the highest definition. It is actually 1 or 2 points higher than high definition. That's how high it is.
HD.
It's HD.
Dangerous definition.
So switch to the normal stream for just a few minutes. It'll be about 5 minutes, and the HD stream should be up again well in good time for this massively exciting final. Is it going to be exciting? What a terrible question. Tresbeck.
It's going to be exciting, if I think maybe a bit one-sided.
Do you think so?
I think so.
Is there that big a difference?
I really do. Like, PL ends up here, and everybody else is on a lower.
Crowan.
I really liked, even though it was a setup we'd seen from them before, I think Circle of Two has demonstrated that they're capable of putting together a really good setup. But it's kind of like Kill2 said earlier, it's so hard now to prepare against Pandemic Legion. You have the stuff they brought in the prelims, I don't even remember. But then you have this bomber setup to deal with. And then you've got this super duper Minmatar setup to deal with. And you know, if I was the Circle of Two tournament captain right now, like, what are they going to do next? Are they just going to fit, like, you know, the modules that blow up Titans in one shot? Are they going to have the new Doomsdays on their ships that just come rocking out there and blast us out of the sky without even looking? But then again, last time I think Pandemic looked really, really strong, and RUR gave them a fight. And Circle of Two has shown that they've got the endurance. I think we'll know as soon as we see the ships. If Circle of Two, especially if they bring the same setup again, which I pray they're not going to bring the same setup again. If they do, they're going to get rolled, and they'll deserve it.
Yes, if they bring the same setup to the final, they will deserve it. Absolutely, I agree completely. Let's go back to the basics. Let's teach some, hopefully, new viewers a little bit about EVE. So we had logistics ships in that match, and we had shield maintenance bots. So what is the difference between having a logistics module and a maintenance bots, for example, at Tresbeck?
The difference is with logistic ships, you get the ability to fit a large shield or armor repair on a cruiser-sized hull, in addition to a massive cap reduction, so you can actually use them. And that lets you wrap a lot of damage over a very long range, because they also get a range bonus. Logistics ships get a ton of bonuses to this kind of thing, hence the name. And it gives you a little bit more flexibility because you can turn off and on the modules very quickly. You can lock everybody up. There's no travel time. And it lets you rep more than drones can unless you have multiple drone ships. The advantage of rep drones is that anything with a drone bay can carry them.
Right.
So you can use them on any ship, whereas with non-logistic ships and non-capital ships, you're limited to certain size regulated logistics modules.
And with drones, there's travel time as well.
Yes.
You have to actually wait
There's
for
always
them to
that.
fly away. Croven, difference between shield and armor repairing?
Armor repairing is better because it's what the Galente do.
Oh,
Not in certain cases.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's what Galente, who aren't made of complete and utter fail, do
Yes, that's
if they're flying a battleship.
yes.
So, sorry.
What's the difference between?
Shield and armor tanking, obviously, you know, when you're logging in for the first time and you're in your Ibis or your Velator or your other things, Emperor and Reaper, you have the 3 little bars for your hit points. And the top bar is shield, middle bar is armor, bottom bar is hull, or as we call it, hero. And shield tanking involves obviously keeping that top bar intact. Armor tanking involves keeping the middle bar intact, and hero involves being awesome.
A lot of prayer.
And a lot of prayer. The difference, the real functional difference, especially as it comes into play in the tournament, is that shield tanking, the modules, as soon as, and I think you may have mentioned this previously in the broadcast, as soon as a shield tanking module activates, be it remote or local, it immediately gives the hit point bonus, or the hit points healed back. Whereas armor, you have to wait till the end of the cycle, and then it comes back. So with armor tanking in the tournament in particular, you're looking at a danger with small ships of, going up against, say, a heavy Minmatar setup, and just having an alpha strike blast all of your ships out of the sky before your logistics even has a chance to breathe, let alone lock them. Whereas with shield tanking, you do have a little bit more time. I'm not 100% sure because I don't fly a lot of shield tanking. I think armor tanking may be more cap efficient, but I'm sure I'm going to get shouted at for that. Okay,
No, it is.
At least on the local hulls, at least.
Yeah, on local for sure.
Shield tanking eats up a lot more cap, but you can tank a lot more for as long as you have that cap for the most part. Armor tanking usually lets you tank over a longer period of time, though.
And one other thing to mention for the noobs is armor doesn't naturally regen like shields
true.
do.
That is absolutely
And actually, there's whole setups based on the natural regen of shields. Well, that's whenever you hear us say passive shield tank, it refers to using the natural regen of the shields coupled with expanded shield hit points and modules that increase that rate of regen to basically you don't need a module, you don't need a shield booster to keep it up.
There's also a matter of native resists for shields. Tech 1 ships all have 0% EM resists on the shields, which changes. It pretty much means you have to set aside one extra slot for an EM hardener.
Okay. Do you know one ship we haven't seen for quite a few matches?
A Drake.
The Drake. Do you know how smug this is? It's
smug
new
online.
levels.
Do you know why? Because it's just not that good a ship, and the teams know that.
It's
So
not,
they're picking
especially
that
at this point where if you can save 50 points, it doesn't help you.
Now
if you can't die, it doesn't matter. If you can't kill anything, you need to kill everything.
Yes,
Pandemic's going to roll out with 2 Drakes now.
Yeah,
they probably might.
all Drakes, 10 Drakes.
But they're going to be awesome E-War ham Drakes, and it'll be okay.
Yes, it'll be like nano cavalry super Drakes. Anyway, that's going to be interesting. The final, of course, is coming up at 21:30 Eve time. So if you need to go to the bathroom and so forth, get that done before 21:30. I think we'll get the schedule up on screen now. Let's see, there we are. It is Pandemic Legion versus Circle of Two. It is 21:30. We will decide who will get our awesome prizes. And you know what? I really hope we could get the prizes up on screen as well so we can talk about them just a little bit. Let's see what we have. We have the ships that we've made just for this tournament. How do you like them apples?
I got to say, it hasn't been a good day for the blue column.
Yeah. That is absolutely true. The Freki, of course, the Minmatar frigate that will be given to the second place team of this tournament. The Mimir, the cruiser that will be given to the first place. These are awesome, amazing ships. They're absolutely unique, just made for this tournament. And if you see someone flying around on TQ in this, there's a good chance they're really good at PvP. That is, of course,
or rich,
not
or money,
or really rich. Yeah,
Some people conflate the two.
There's, of course, more prizes than just these 2 ships. There is massive amounts of money. I think the winner gets something like 50 billion-ish cash, which is an obscene amount of money.
It's a lot of
Drop in the bucket for PL.
Drop in the bucket for a big
Throw that
allowance,
in the
possibly.
back room.
Well, kind of. It's a pretty significant thing. But anyway, great prizes. What do you think about the prizes? I mean, we've had some previous prizes like standings and stuff like that. What do you think about these prizes this time around, Treswick?
I really like them. I mean, I would like them more if I had the chance of getting one. I would probably lose it in a horrendously embarrassing fashion.
I hope so.
No, I think it's really cool because I think, it's not the first time that you guys have given out like one-of-a-kind or very limited ships. But I feel like there's a good balance here between a good number of them and rarity because, I mean, you'll never see anybody fly a State Raven in PvP on purpose or any of the one-of-a-kind Tempests. But, there's enough of these ships, especially given that Pandemic Legion are going to have some of them, that I'm sure you'll see killer lost mails with them on it in a non-suicide ganking.
I accidentally my State Raven.
Yeah. No es bueno, as they say. I think it's really good. I think this is actually one of the better prize sets. I think the standing stuff like that was a little bit...
I think another problem with standings is, a less savvy alliance, if they won that, would immediately crash the market on whatever it was they decided to cash in the chips on.
Yeah.
Let's grab a question for ISC for CCP Hammer. So the mothership.
What's the answer to that?
Motherships, of course, are going to be a super carrier, basically. And we've heard that they'll cost a bit less. Is there any like final price on them yet?
No, not yet, but yeah, less.
Okay.
And they also have the fighter bombers, which I don't know if you guys have talked about those at all.
Fire bomb away.
Okay, so fighter bombers are like fighters, and for people who don't know, fighters are launched from carriers, and they're like drones, but they do more damage. And the fighter bombers are anti-capital fighters,
Okay. So
and they have two little pilots in. Little dudes.
yeah, I saw the Galente one. Was
yeah,
like
it's very nice.
It's kind of Top Gun-ish.
Yeah,
It's a good touch.
Yeah.
You're
I like
big on the winks this afternoon, man.
he was thinking of Iceman.
Iceman, yeah. Yeah, they are really cool as well. Another one is from Nickname.
Okay.
I don't know if this is a bad copy paste, but the question is from Nickname, or it should have been Nickname there. That's a pretty good player name actually. Are we making any changes to wormholes?
Is that a dev?
No.
Or we?
CCP nickname?
CCP nickname?
No. How
It's
about
like
wormholes? Are we doing
non-primary.
anything about those?
Not a whole lot in this
No.
one, but we will be iterating on wormhole stuff.
Ooh, so there's wormhole stuff to come.
Yeah, always iterating.
I like that.
One thing about the super carriers and everything is the mineral cost is going to be, there's going to be a lot more to it than mineral cost for pricing on that now. Like super capitals now, you pay for the minerals and you pay a fee to use the SOB 4 CSAs,
Yeah.
but that's, the pricing's going to change a lot even regardless of what the base is.
Yeah, because they're going to be more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be like some dark backstreet transaction where you hope some guy can keep your money safe.
Cribba may make a ton of money if he figures out some way to
If he does.
safeguard
Or
this
the
kind of
big
thing.
alliances who can say we can guarantee safe space.
Yes. Yeah, we'll start producing super carriers, I'm sure.
I'll
You
start
may never
producing
get them, but we'll take your money for them.
Yes, like much businesses
Yes.
with Goonswarm. That is how it is, I guess. Let's see if we have any other interesting questions. Crowan, do you have anything you'd like to ask CCP Hammer?
Actually, that covered a lot of what I had. Was as far as super carriers and fighter bombers. I'm not a huge fan of capital ships myself, so it's ironic that now I want a Nix. But
It's a pretty ship.
it's the most gorgeous ship in the game.
Also, contractually obligated. This is in the EULA. When you're flying one, anytime you go into warp, you have to say punch it, Chewie.
One more question. This is Child of Sohar. I don't know what I think.
Was his
about
father offended by some of the language on the stream? Is that him posting?
it. May have been. Is CCP doing anything to make 0.0 more attractive for high-sec players?
Well, with the changes to allow alliances to upgrade their space, we, hope that as people upgrade it, it'll be a better sort of risk versus reward ratio than it is now. We had a lot more plans that we intend to do, like eventually getting agents out in outposts.
That'll be hot.
Yeah, so that's not Dominion though, but
Okay.
that's a plan of ours.
I have a follow.
Crowan, you seem to either have some kind of seizure or a question.
Maybe a little both. I don't know if you know, but Rias Nia is a low-sec pirate.
Here's a veto even.
I heard a rumor that he was in Veto. And one of the things that has been talked about a lot, I know it was in QENs and stuff like that, is, and you talked about risk to reward ratio in 0-0. I've always been reasonably happy with it in 0-0. Of course, I've always lived in somewhat secure space. But low-sec, that risk to reward ratio, I know it's something that's been getting tweaked a little bit. Maybe the faction warfare changes will help with that. But what is when looking at the 0-0 risk to reward, is there a similar kind of mindset for making low-sec's risk to reward a little bit more in line as a transition point to 0-0?
Yeah. I mean, we want to adjust the risk versus reward. We're not doing it in Dominion, but we've actually recently on the game design mailing list had pretty big, long discussions about that stuff. And so in the coming year, it's something we're going to look at.
So low-sec pirates have a lot to look forward to.
Well, perhaps. I mean, piracy is sort of its own thing. I mean, you just sort of do it. It's not like we said we're going to make a profession of piracy, and it's just what.
Well, you didn't make a profession of mercenaries either, but we made it happen.
Oh, snap. Anyway,
My turn to wink.
what if we think a little bit past Dominion? Like, what is in store for Eve? Do we have any great and grand plans we want to put in?
Well, I mean, we've been showing people walking around inside stations for a while.
That is true.
And now it's called Incarna,
Mm-hmm.
and it is being worked on.
Mhm.
There's still no release date for it. And we've got other things planned for next year, but we haven't made any announcements, and I'm not going to do it here. So
Yeah.
before, PR people come in.
That's what FanFest is for. Come to
Exactly.
FanFest.
Yes.
Yeah.
FanFest, we are told, if you want to know anything about Dust, you should come to FanFest.
Mm-hmm.
That is apparently like where we will drop the trousers and show the beast, as they say.
To put it mildly.
Put it mildly. No, but we have been told that Dust will be a FanFest will be a superb source of information for Dust.
Mm-hmm.
And I am excited.
Yeah, me too.
Trisbeck, I know you're a big shooter fan. Would you play something like Dust, something like Eve Universe-ish shooter?
Yeah. No, make it gritty and unforgiving.
Gritty, unforgiving, with a massive
And
learning curve.
semi-realistic. Yes. I want it to be on that chart of like.
Yeah,
where
the
you use
chart of the
cliff. I
learning
want
curves.
like Mount Everest of dust.
Welcome to Dust. Assemble your weapon.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't want Counter-Strike in space. I want to be able to like sit under a bush on some planet and kill some guy 2 miles away, and he'll be all like, and
you'll be
like,
smug.
you just got Darius Johnson.
Anyway, before we delve too much into sitting in bushes and shooting people, let us quickly go to the lovely Stevie ST with our commentators.
I am indeed, and speaking of dropping trow at FanFest, we do have the lovely Rias Neal with us from Veto Corp.
Hi. Are you
Hi.
in Vito? Vito, now available in premium lager.
Yeah, I've been told actually to pimp the events that are happening from Veto at FanFest. Can you tell me anything on that?
We're doing a 8-ball pool tournament. I don't have the location yet, but it will be right before FanFest, I think the Wednesday before FanFest. So, all of you people who are coming to FanFest, and of course everyone is coming at least a week early, if not, 2 weeks early for it, should definitely, check our forums, www.veto-corp.com. We're going to be putting up a public notice about that, I hope soon, if we haven't already. Recruitment's also open.
It's going to be, I have actually gone drinking with the Veto boys at last FanFest, and it was an absolutely epic time. You can also go on pub crawls with developers as well at FanFest this year. It's a new thing to happen, and that's going to be awesome. Are you planning on doing any of that?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I really, really want to. I've talked to a couple devs who are doing pub crawls, and pretty much their plans involve craziness, shenanigans, awesome hijinks, maybe a little bit of win.
Hootenannies.
Hootenannies are kind of out of fashion this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no
I didn't know that.
hootenannies.
Oh, well, there you go. So if you haven't booked your ticket yet, you should come to FanFest because you get to drink with this guy and lots of developers. And the party is going to be insane. And the keynote's probably going to be pretty cool if you're interested in any of the stuff that the other guys were talking about. It's going to be brilliant. And it's in like 2 weeks. How exciting?
2 weeks.
It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. We do have the winning number for the PCU competition, but we're going to announce that probably a little bit later on to who actually got the prizes, which is a truckload of Eon magazines. Don't look. And but we'll get to that later on. Some interesting questions from the forums. We'll go for the more technical ones than anything else. If you were CCP Claw, what rule changes could you make to stop Caldari setups being used, apart from banning Caldari as a race?
Wow.
We talked about some super ridiculous ones, but really I think I had some really good ideas about this one, about how to get Caldari out.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and then Pandemic Legion did something amazing, and I completely forgot my train of thought.
What was I thinking? I mean, it's really difficult. Caldari's really good. I think the biggest thing you could do is do something that affected ECM use, something that made it so that rooks were too expensive, or so that jamming was totally out of the tournament, which would be pretty ridiculous. But if you had a way to get ECM out, that's really kind of the biggest strength.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, ECM, I wouldn't want to take ECM completely out, but I would want to maybe mitigate it a little bit. The same with, sensor damps just a little bit, because missiles, part of what makes missiles so awesome is that they just shoot so far. So it's really easy for you to just warp in a couple of rooks and jam everything and then just start lobbing missiles at any range. So I might look at upping the points just a little bit on recons in particular.
Okay, well, there you go on that one. Another question. People want to know, because you guys have obviously been plucked from the internet to be flown out to Iceland to be commentators, and we had a girl on the forums, a real one, I think.
A girl?
Yeah. And she wanted to know whether I thought you guys acted like gentlemen in real life. Well, I think you do. I don't know whether you guys think any differently.
I try to sometimes. I mean, there's a little bit of the TV persona and a little bit of the real persona, but I just kind of exaggerate my things just a little. I mean, you got to get excited about it. We're on TV. We're doing this event. It needs to be entertaining.
Hey. I don't mean to interrupt. I'll let you finish. But my answer is much better. Holding girls' doors, that is, for girls, is really dumb. They can open their own doors.
Okay. That's good to know. Well, this is all part of the thing about FanFest as well. It's seeing people outside of their internet personas in real life and meeting people you haven't seen for years and meeting people you've never seen. So I think it's always a good thing, unless you're a girl and need a door opened and Kill 2 is the one who has to do it.
Well, there's Sisters of Eve too.
There's Sisters of Eve too. So if you are a girl, or actually it's open to any kind of partner, I think, and your spouse or whatever is thinking of going to FanFest, you can go to Iceland and not actually have to go to FanFest. Or you can go to the bits you want to go to and do other stuff when you don't, which is awesome. So check it out. Go to the FanFest website and have a look because it's absolutely awesome. And we have a couple of other questions. Obviously, PvP tournament, it's getting the word out there to everyone in EVE and outside of EVE about how awesome EVE PvP is. If I was a new player, and we probably have a lot of noobs watching now, and this is probably the first thing they've seen of real PvP, how could you get into it?
Do you want to take this, or?
I think we both should.
Okay.
I'll
At
go
the same
first.
time?
No.
Oh, all right.
The best thing to do if you want a PvP, which is I find the biggest barrier for new players, is you have to just try to do something. Like, just invent a way on your own and do it, and then see how it works out, and then adjust. Like, most people are just scared, and there's really not as many barriers as it seems like. The biggest real barrier is price, but it's really easy to avoid. You just fly something cheap. Just get something that's affordable, and then lose it, and then do whatever you can after that to get better. And I mean, that's all I did. I started in Rifters. I just lost them until I figured out how not to, and then I moved up and up and up, and that's I think the best advice I can think of.
I think that's very, very good advice. I think with that, we should probably pass it back to Soundwave in the studio.
Thank you very much, guys. You should, of course, always open doors for women, especially if they have no hands. Just before this final, we have a last little featurette we want to show you. The HD stream should be up again now, so if you want to watch this featurette in glorious high definition, please do so. The featurette is coming up now.